Hello and welcome to the Fishing Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Wiegmann, and we are at the Crappie compound, and we have special guests. It's crazy, some of the crappie fishermen we have here that have years and years and years of experience, and so we are picking their brain, and Steve said, come pick my brain.
Oh, Lord, I don't know if we want to do that or not. You know, it runs pretty deep out here in this water.
That's right. So Steve Coleman's been around forever and ever.
Yep.
And has done all kinds of techniques, but lately he has been doing something special,
right?
With a B&M pole that's a pole that extends out. So I'll let you explain to everyone what you're using for a pole and what's it called.
Well, B&M come out with a pole that's called the Little Mighty, which I have it right here. It's a telescopic pole. It comes, it's 15, 20, 25 feet. A lot of my guide trips lately, the customers, I have put this in their hands,
Right.
And I explained to them, you're going to hate it and you're going to love it. They hate it when they first start fishing with it, but by the end of the day, when they catching those fish, I'm talking about 20 foot out,
right,
with a really light pole, and you talking about some action with it now. They are hooked with it. I mean, it's this pole, the 20-foot pole is what I like to fish with. Then I got another one that's a prototype. It's not out yet.
Right.
It's 25 foot long. But what you can do with this pole, especially with forward-facing sonar,
right,
those fish are coming to your boat. When they get within 20 foot of your boat, 18, it's like a big buck. He's getting ready to leave.
Right.
What you got to do, you got to catch him at that distance. And with these long poles, hey, I can drop it right on their head and catch just about every single one of them.
All right.
It's unreal to see it.
So is it heavy? It's 20 foot, like a 20-foot pole. How heavy is it?
This pole is not heavy at all. It comes in. We fish it in just a little bit. Keep it under our arm.
Okay.
And it's not real heavy. Just put it in your hand just for a
Right.
second.
Oh yeah, it's light.
It's
way out there.
It's way out there. Yeah.
You use that for leverage.
For leverage, right.
So how do you rig your line on the end? What is the tip? How do you get your line on there? Do you just tie it on the end?
Well, if you're fishing like in 7 foot of water, say 12 foot of water, 15 foot of water, anything over 15 foot, I would probably use a pole with a reel on it. But anything in shallow water, you rig it with how much line it is deep, the depth of the water is.
Okay.
Like if it's 7 foot deep, I'll usually put 7, 8 foot of line on it just to reach the bottom, because the line is actually tied to the end of the pole.
Okay. Let's look at that.
I tie it to the end of the pole. I've got one sitting right here. Let me show you.
All right.
This is just an example, though.
So you use monofilament or
I like monofilament.
Okay.
And all I use is like a 1/4 ounce sinker.
Okay.
Sometimes I wrap it. Sometimes I use the bead stop on it, to stop that sinker.
All right.
But you see about how far that is.
Okay.
Probably a foot there. And I like to use a split shot. Most time it's a number 7 split shot. Probably 2 to 3 inches above that crappie hook. And that's a 214 Eagle Claw, what that is, number 2. And what that does, when I put this in the water, well, if I can grab a hold of it here, get it all mangled up. When you put this in the water, that hook falls. You've got live bait on the end of it.
Okay.
That minnow cannot swim off with that sinker. He just goes around and around and around. And if you got it in front of that crappie's face, it's over with. He's got it. He's going to eat it. Now,
let's look at the tip of this again. So, tell us what. Well, how's this tip? What's on the tip?
Okay, this is my backyard version of a tip. This pole actually comes with a really limber tip.
Right.
And if you're not careful, you will break it off. I mean, it's real limber. It's got a little piece of thread that's tied on the end of it that you tie your line to. Okay. Actually, what I do, I remove the last 2 sections of the pole.
Right.
And I know everybody's got broke poles laying around the house, plenty of B&M tips.
Right.
This is actually an old B&M tip.
Right.
Pole. I just cut it with retrofits back inside there about that far and slide it back in.
Right.
And this tip is solid and it won't break.
Wow.
And the only way, you could tie it into your pole, but what I do is it's kind of a rig there. I just put a little piece of black tape on it. It grabs your pole and it's not coming off.
Right.
I'll tie that tape behind it,
Right.
hitch it on there a couple of times, and it's ready to go.
Ready to go.
I mean, simple.
And the other one manufactured comes with like a loop end, and that's where you put your line in.
It's got a little piece of material that hangs off of it.
Okay.
You tie it to that, and once you get it tied on there, it's not going to slip off.
I gotcha.
But those tips are very easy to break.
Right. So they should be careful with those.
Most people, when they catch a fish, they want to pick him up.
Right.
With these poles, what you do.
Yeah, what do you do?
When you reach out there, and I'm not going to get it all the way out, but
right.
when he bites that pole, it's just a quick hook set. And you keep that pole tight, and you're sliding it in the whole time with that pole tight. What you're doing until you get him close enough. See, that pole gets shorter. When you get him close enough, you can either reach him down there and pick him up, or you can dip him up with your dip net.
I gotcha.
See.
So you're not jerking. It's not a hard hook set. You're just
slow and steady is what it is. Just a quick jerk and slow and steady. What it is.
And is that the reason why people say when they're around you they can hear this popping noise? What's that popping noise?
When I get
Because everyone, let me tell you. So people are like, you need to go with Steve because you're going to hear this popping noise.
Well, if I'm fishing out there and I see a fish right by the boat, my pole's too long.
Right.
I'm like, I'm getting it in there. If he's right beside the boat, I can get it all the way down right there.
Right.
Mickey Mouse pole. And if he's out there, I can get it right out there just that quick.
Right.
I can follow. And if I'm out there and he's just a little bit closer to me, I just ease it in on top of his head. Just
right.
You feel it stick. That's when you got to pop it. It just pops.
Yeah, we can hear it popping.
It pops.
Hopefully, they can hear that popping on the.
But it takes a while to fish with it to get real consistent. But once you do, I can't fish nothing else. I'm a troller. I'm a minnow rigger, and hey, you get hooked on it. That's all I can say. I mean, it's awesome. Little mighty. It's a big mighty. Is what it is.
That's the B&M version. I know they got shorter ones than that one, right?
I think it's a 15 foot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I have the 15 and the 20 inside there, but
this is a 20. The 25 is a little heavier for me. But the prototype pole they've got, it's gonna be it's a checkered style.
Right.
Where this one here, sometimes when you get it wet, it'll stick on you. If you pull it out too hard, it'll stick on you. But the checkered body on the other one that's soon to come, it won't stick.
So tell us, is there any tricks that they need to know about when they get it way out there? Because when they get way out there, it's become a different pole. 7-foot poles, everyone, might be the longest pole that anyone's ever crappie fished with. So what are some tips about fishing and having it, the 20-foot extension out and fishing it?
Well, don't keep it extended at 20 feet. Keep it out there about 12, some of it pulled in until you see that fish and you know how far you need to go.
So you're seeing a fish first and then you're presenting the bait?
I'm presenting the bait, yeah. If he's out there at 25 foot, I want him to get about 20 foot, 18, and I'm going to catch him.
So
he's caught.
So you're dropping it down to him? Are you keeping him above his head?
I put it right on top of him, what I do.
Okay.
If it's a crappie, you can tell which way he's facing.
Right.
A lot of times he'll be nose up just a little bit. You want to present that bait, whether it's a jig or it's a minnow, right on top of his head. Never go below him because you're going to hit him. He's going to go off. As long as you keep it on top of his head, he's going to turn up to it and he's going to eat it. But if he don't eat it, just barely raise it up, make him come to it. If he comes to it and you stop, he's going to get it.
I gotcha.
Yeah, you just you got to spoon feed him what you got to do. Yeah. And it's to learn to use this pole. Yeah. I would recommend go out on a non-windy day. Once the wind blows on the 20-foot pole, it gets a little harder to use. It's more aggravating. But start out on a good steel day, practice with it. It don't take long.
How about sensitivity with this rod? How sensitive is this rod? I mean, you got a lot of meat out there, I guess you could say.
Well, if you ever watch that forward-facing sonar, you can see a crappie coming to that bait, and he'll blow water on that minnow and just blow him out of the way sometimes.
Right.
You can feel that on that pole.
Wow.
I mean, it's just a little tick is all it is,
Super sensitive.
Super sensitive. A lot of times, just like, the old trolling that we did, or we still do. When you see a bite on that trolling rod, that fish has already had that bait in his mouth, and he's going with it.
Right.
You know, you never seen him bite. With this long pole, you can see him bite on that screen, and you can feel him bite. I mean, it's just instant.
How long have you been using the Little Mighty?
I've been using that one for probably 2.5 years now.
2.5 years.
Yeah, 2 years, at least 2 years, yeah.
Right.
Or more.
How long is this? One of your original ones? Is this 2 years old?
Lord,
I was like, no. Really? You had one pole that lasted that long?
No. I'm pretty rough on them. You know. Another trick on this pole is keep it clean, because if you get fish slime on it, you know, sliding in and out like that, it's gonna stick. So, you know, wipe
soap
it down.
and water or what? Just anything?
Just wipe it down every once in a while with a dry rag or anything. Get that fish slime off of there.
Right.
And it won't stick.
Yeah. So less than 7 foot. Most of your leaders will be shorter than that. Will the length of the leader change like in the spring when they're real shallow? Will you make it like a 3 or 4 foot leader?
If I get in 5 foot of water, most of the time these fish are going to be 5 foot or more. You know, very seldom you catch them in 3 foot. You know, it's just ever how deep the water is, have that much line on there.
I got you.
And when you get the line too long, it's hard to give a little pitch because the line's too long.
Right.
So
you're still pitching it to them.
Right.
You're still pitching out to them, and it's pendulum back to the to the
He's
crappie.
if that post 20 foot long. If I've got 10 feet of line on there, I can pitch to him 25 feet if I just lay it in the water. You know, don't let your sinker or your jig pop that water, because if it does, that fish is going to leave. Just lay it out there. Just let it fall to him. Most of the time when it gets to him, he's going to bite it. Yeah, you actually see what these fish do on this sonar.
Yeah. And you've been around a long time. What do you think about electronic sonar and how it's changed things? It's changed your way of fishing.
Oh yeah, it puts everybody in the same boat. What it does, you know, if you're proficient by using electronics, you're going to be pretty good at this. I mean, it's, you know, tournament fishing. It tightens the field. You know, they say some people, you know, they a little more talented with it, and they kind of run away with the field every once in a while. But it's starting to balance out now, since, you know, it's still new. You know, people trying to figure out how to use it. Right. And it's coming around for a lot of people.
And the equipment itself is kind of changing too, right?
Oh Lord, yes, every day. You know, trolling motors. You know, power poles, everything. Crappie brakes now. Who ever heard of crappie brakes 2 or 3 years ago? Right. And I said, what is crappie brakes? You know, this is a trolling motor on the back of the boat that pulls you backwards. Punch a button. You know. Yep. Power pole. My power pole's a little logging chain I just drag off the back of the boat.
There you go.
It stops me when I let off the trolling motor. It stops me, you know. So.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's the old way. Yeah.
You have lots of creative things on your boat, don't you?
Oh yeah, I've been doing this I'm 60 years old now. I've been fishing since I was about 4. So. Right. Yeah, and you kind of lay in a bed at night and you just think about what you can do next.
What's the one crappie you caught that is the most memorable crappie? What one sets it off? That, like, was it your very first crappie, or was it your biggest crappie, or what crappie, like, you would remember someone ask you, what's your best crappie you ever caught?
It was probably a grenade a couple of years ago. During a tournament, I caught had 5 fish weighed over 3 pounds in the tournament. And 2 of them, one was a 373, and the other one was a 363. Wow. And they look like whales when they come in the boat, you know. And I can remember one more fish on that same day. When I got him to the top of the water, he made those look sick. Wow. But he come off.
So the one you remember the most is the one that got away? Man. That happens.
When you see his big mouth out there, it looks like a fruit jar. You know he's big. Yeah, I remember that. I remember the tree. I remember the little creek that he come off in, you know. Right. So, but anyway, if you're going to catch a big fish, you know, Grenada's got some 4-pound crappie in it.
That's right. Yeah. And if they're, for the spider riggers out there, what's one tip you would give to someone who's spider rigging, maybe hasn't done it a lot?
Oh, Lord, just get out there and do it, you know. Just don't let this forward-facing sonar bother you. You know, people say, well, it's over with. It's not. Right. You know, I fished this morning in this lake. I'm going to start this lake today. Right. And I fished in the area, and I caught a lot of fish with this one pole. Right. But when I was catching those fish, it was hard to pick out one because there was a fish here, a fish here, and a fish there on the screen. Right. I would love to have had my trolling poles at that time, you know. And I'll probably will this afternoon. I'm going back.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
It's a number game, right?
It's a number game. That's right.
Yeah.
To me, I want to beat that fish.
Right.
I want to see if I can make him bite.
Well, there's a lot of them that have hit some hot grease.
Yeah.
First, they've met you, and then they've met some hot grease.
Here at this Crappie compound, we're getting ready to cook some more. We're gonna have a good weekend, lots of fun. We're gonna throw down. That's all I can tell you.
There you go.
Yeah.
That takes us over to Tackle Time. Tackle Time sponsored by PICO Lures. They have a complete line of hard and soft baits, everything for crappie, bass, stripers, whites, you name it. They got a lure that'll catch them, so make sure you check them out at picolures.com. Steve, give a shout out to some of your sponsors.
Yeah,
B&M Poles.
Yeah, that's
got the little mighty.
we've been with B&M Poles ever since
Right.
I can remember, 30 years or so.
Right.
Oh, they've been a wonderful sponsor to us. They've supported us on anything that we've wanted to do. And the last couple of years, Super Clean's come along and they've supported us. They've been real good to us. Got a lot of different jig people that that help us out with jigs. John Blake, little riddle jigs, he helps us out a lot. Hook and bullet sunglasses,
Right.
I'm blind in one eye, and with those sunglasses that he provided where I could see,
Right.
it changed the world. I mean,
There you go.
He helped me out a lot. So.
There you go. There you have it. Good information. Make sure you check out these telescoping poles, the Little Mighty by B&M poles, because it's once you get used to using it, you're going to be addicted to
Try
that
it
kind
one
of fishing.
One
There
time.
you go. All right. Sounds good. Hey, make sure you keep your hook sharp and lures in the water.
That's right.
Thanks, Steve.